Mesdames et messieurs, veuillez accueillir, please welcome, your hosts for this panel, Christine Poirier and Chris MacInnes, along with your MPs avec vos députés, Emmanuella Lambropoulos, Richard Hébert, marrying, and Gordie Hogg.
Good afternoon. Oh, not yet. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And my name is Chris MacInnes. I'm the National Campaign Co-Chair, a position I've held since 2016. And I want to welcome you to my hometown of Halifax. As you know, we're expecting over 3,000 attendees to this convention. It'll be our largest convention. It is our largest convention outside of a leadership ever. It's our youngest convention ever, with more attendees under the age of 25 than ever before, highlighting the importance of the role young Canadians have in shaping this movement. More than half of the attendees here today, or this weekend, will be attending their first ever political convention, an important result for a party opening itself up to more Canadians and their ideas. And over 100,000 Canadians have registered as new Liberals since the last convention alone. So, most importantly for me, this is the first National Liberal Convention held in Atlantic, Canada. And I'm joined today by my co-host, Christine Poirier.
Bonjour tout le monde. Bienvenue à cette présentation sur l'espoir et le travail acharné pendant la campagne. Je suis très heureuse d'être ici avec vous. Moi, je suis la directrice des opérations pour le Parti libéral du Canada, section Québec. Et j'ai eu la chance de participer à 2 des élections partielles qui ont eu lieu en 2017. Comme Chris l'a dit, 2017 a été une année extrêmement chargée pour le Parti libéral du Canada. On a eu 12 élections partielles, dont 12 depuis les dernières élections, 11 en 2017. On a cogné à plus de 1,4 million de portes et on a fait des appels énormément. Donc, on a été en contact avec beaucoup de gens à travers le pays. C'est une occasion exceptionnelle aujourd'hui d'en apprendre plus sur les campagnes partielles qui ont eu lieu et les leçons qu'on en a tirées et qu'on garde pour 2019.
Thanks, Christine. So it bears repeating, ladies and gentlemen, since 2015, we've competed in 12 by-elections over the past 2 years, 11 of which were in 2017 alone. We made 1.4 million phone calls and knocks on doors with thousands of people volunteering their time. That hard work paid off. We've elected 7 members of Parliament, 4 of them women, and gaining 2 Liberal seats, 1 in Quebec and 1 in British Columbia. So we're focused, of course, on the election in 2019, but we wanted to share with you some of the lessons learned from these important by-elections over the last couple of years. So with us today are 4 of our successful new members of Parliament.
Donc vraiment, on a la preuve ici avec nous que quand on travaille fort, ça rapporte. On a élu 7 nouveaux députés, dont 4 femmes, et on a gagné 2 sièges, un au Québec et un en Colombie-Britannique, dans les 2 nouveaux sièges libéraux. Donc, avec nous, 4 invités très spéciaux. J'aimerais commencer par vous présenter Emmanuella Lambropoulos. Donc, Emmanuella est née à Montréal et d'origine grecque. C'est une libérale de longue date. Elle a été impliquée très longtemps dans l'Association libérale de Saint-Laurent avec M. Dion. Elle a aidé à préparer les épluchettes de blé d'Inde, comme certainement beaucoup d'entre vous participent dans vos associations respectives. Elle a été une bénévole dans sa communauté, donc elle est coach de sport, donc que ce soit pour le volleyball ou le tennis. Donc, elle a été élue le 3 avril 2017 dans la circonscription de Saint-Laurent. Je poursuis avec la présentation de M. Richard Hébert, qui est juste à côté d'Emmanuella. Donc, c'est un grand honneur. J'ai évidemment participé aussi au Lac-Saint-Jean avec Richard dans sa campagne. Donc, Richard est un homme exceptionnel, d'une éthique, d'un enthousiasme à toute épreuve. Donc, il a grandi au Lac-Saint-Jean, plus précisément à Dolbeau-Mistassini. Il s'est impliqué énormément dans la politique municipale de sa ville natale, comme son grand-père et son arrière-grand-père. Il en a été maire. Donc, Richard vient d'une famille d'entrepreneurs, respectés et aimés dans sa communauté. Donc, il a été élu dans la circonscription de Lac-Saint-Jean le 23 octobre 2017.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mary Ng, the Member of Parliament from Markham Thornhill. Mary immigrated to Canada from Hong Kong with her family and grew up learning the struggle and eventual success that many new immigrants face on Canadian soil. Her years working in the Ontario Public Service, Ryerson, the Ontario Minister of Education, led her to be recognized as one of Canada's top-performing public sector leaders, before being recruited to serve as Director of Appointments for in the Office of the Prime Minister. And just over a year ago, on April 3rd, 2017, Mary was elected to the riding of Markham-Thornhill. And finally, at my far left is Gordie Hogg from South Surrey, White Rock. Gordie is from White Rock with deep roots in his riding. He served as mayor of White Rock for 10 years, and 10 years before that served as a councillor. Highly involved in his community, from sitting on nonprofit boards to being a foster parent, Gordie has had a long career in public life, first as in local politics, as I mentioned, and then as a provincial MLA for 20 years, where he was a Minister of State for Mining, as well as the Minister for Children and Family Development. Elected on December 11th, 2017, in the riding of South Surrey White Rock, a riding that had not elected a Liberal in over 70 years.
So we're going to go with our first question. Donc, chacun, like each of you has put their name up on this ballot in the last year, and we'd like to know what led you to do this. Was there something specific, an event, a person that led you to put your name forward? Donc, vous êtes présentés tous pour le Parti libéral du Canada dans la dernière année. Qu'est-ce qui vous a amené à vous lancer en politique, à franchir ce pas et à vous lancer en politique fédérale?
Premièrement, ça fait longtemps que j'apprécie la politique. Je regardais souvent les nouvelles et des émissions politiques avec mon père à la maison, puis on discutait, on parlait des opinions qu'on avait par rapport à différents enjeux. Ensuite, je me suis impliquée à l'âge de 17 ans, durant les élections électorales fédérales, les élections fédérales à Antique-Cartierville, avec la membre Eleni Bakopano, qui, tristement, on a perdu ce siège-là cette année-là, mais quand même, j'ai appris beaucoup de choses de comment faire les campagnes électorales. I learned a lot about the campaign trail on that campaign. I was there almost every day, going door to door, being the youth representative for the riding, even though I didn't live in the riding. Parce que je savais qu'à Saint-Laurent, c'était M. Dion qui était le leader cette année-là. Fait qu'on avait besoin de plus d'aide dans d'autres comtés. Alors, je suis allée à Antique. Ensuite, je me suis joint à l'Association fédérale de Saint-Laurent. Alors, j'ai fait 7 années sur l'exécutif de l'association à Saint-Laurent. Et puis, j'ai eu beaucoup d'expérience en faisant ça. Fait que j'ai planifié des élections de M. Dion aussi. J'ai beaucoup fait du bénévolat. So I got a lot of experience, and I felt confident when the seat opened up in 2017, April last year. I guess I had, volunteered a lot, and I had gained a lot of experience, and I felt that I was able to run a campaign. I figured I knew how, and I had done it enough times to be able to do it. Also, I've always been somebody who doesn't necessarily like the status quo. I want to get more and more people involved in politics. I believe in inclusive politics. And I saw that Team Trudeau was definitely going in that direction. Our Prime Minister, we're lucky, has opened the doors to so many people. And therefore, because he's inspiring so many of us to join, I figured it would be a perfect opportunity to actually take the step forward and be the change that I wished to see. So that was one of the main things that I believe led me to run in 2017. I want to give a chance, and I want to give a fair chance to every Canadian. And I can't just say that if I'm not going to get involved myself. So I just decided, you know what, I believe in this. I think I can make a difference. And that was really what inspired me to run.
Merci. Richard, la parole est à toi.
Merci. First of all, good afternoon, Halifax! That's going to be the only word in English for you this afternoon. Merci, Christine, de la question. Évidemment, moi, j'aime la politique depuis que je suis tout jeune, un peu comme Emmanuella. J'étais assis sur les genoux de mon père pour lire le journal. Il m'appelait Gazette. J'étais assis sur les genoux de mon père. J'aimais beaucoup la politique. Et j'ai fait de la politique municipale en premier lieu. Et lorsque l'élection de M. Trudeau a eu lieu en décembre, c'est-à-dire à l'automne, en 2015, je me suis dit, il va y avoir une ouverture qui va se présenter bientôt. J'étais convaincu que M. Denis Lebel, qui occupait le poste, allait céder sa place. Ça ne se pouvait pas qu'il puisse continuer dans ce sens. Et mon intuition m'a bien servi, car il a annoncé sa démission au courant de l'été de 2017. Et tout de suite, j'ai vu l'opportunité, je me suis dit, et voilà. Mais qu'est-ce qui m'a inspiré le plus? C'est vraiment le leadership de Justin Trudeau. Lorsqu'il a atteint le poste, il a tout de suite fait entrer 25 000 réfugiés syriens. Et moi, dans le fond de mon lac Saint-Jean natal, je regardais ça, je me dis, quelle ouverture d'esprit, quelle grandeur. Et j'étais dans les hôtels à Montréal quand j'ai vu arriver ces pauvres personnes qui fuyaient le pays sous les bombes, etc. Et je me suis dit, voilà, moi, je veux travailler avec ce gars-là. Et maintenant, arrive la traversée du lac Saint-Jean à Robertval, et il y a un souper dans les rues. Et j'ai eu la chance de croiser Justin Trudeau. Et à ce moment-là, je me suis dit, oui, ça, c'est un leader positif. Ça, c'est un gars qui regarde en avant. C'est un gars qui a un charisme évident. Je veux travailler dans son équipe. Alors, j'ai fait ce qu'il fallait. J'ai remporté l'investiture. Je vais vous donner un petit chiffre. Quand on a pris l'investiture libérale, ou quand on a pris cette chose-là, il y avait 42 membres au Lac-Saint-Jean. Quand on a terminé, il y en avait 1072. Alors, on a travaillé fort. On a travaillé fort pour arriver à ça. Et aussi, c'est qu'on a aussi cru au travail d'équipe. C'est sûr que vouloir y aller, c'est une chose, mais bien s'entourer, c'en est une autre. Et je voudrais remercier évidemment les personnes qui m'ont entouré. Et je regarde le visage sympathique de Christine Poirier qui m'a aidé, Alain Alexandre, tous ces gens-là m'ont beaucoup aidé. Jonathan Tanguay, Dan Turner, Rafik Green, j'ai peur d'en oublier, Thomas Gagné, j'ai écrit ma liste pour ne pas les oublier. Ensuite, j'ai eu Guillaume Normandin, François Messicotte, Elisabeth Damour, François Brassard, Isabella Brisson, Fred Côté. Tous ces gens-là sont venus m'appuyer et je voudrais remercier encore une fois l'équipe libérale qui m'ont appuyé énormément. Et le résultat est arrivé et un résultat extraordinaire.
Merci, Richard.
Mary, I'm sure there's people sitting in the audience that are thinking about running, probably like you were a couple of years ago. So what inspired you to take the next step?
So thank you. How do I follow up Richard? Welcome, Halifax. So great to be here. It's a great question. When the seat came up for Mr. McCallum just a little over a year ago, I had a job, and I had a pretty wonderful job. And the job that I was working in was something that I had both the privilege to do, but was extremely committed to doing. And that role was the head of appointments for the Prime Minister and for this government. And why was that role so important? That role was really important because this government made a commitment to open up some of the most important positions in this government, to ask Canadians to stand and serve their country in these many, many appointments. And the commitment we made was to open merit-based appointments that included women and people of diversity from across this country. That was such an important file to me, and it continues to be for this government. And when I think about the impact that that role would have afforded me and this government to demonstrate and to create the confidence in Canadians that they could and should and are meritorious to serve, when the seat came up, I gave it quite a bit of thinking. We'll talk about this a little later, but it is true that, that women do have to be asked, and you do think about it, and you do ask yourself whether or not you could do it or not. After some of that thinking, I put my name forward for the nomination and then eventually into the by-election. But the reason for doing it was a continuation, or what I guess I see as a continuation of the important work that I had the privilege of doing. And now I get the privilege, and I was hoping I would get the privilege to do this on behalf of the people in my riding, to stand forward in front rather than from behind, to be a racialized woman, to be able to represent a riding. My riding is over 80% diversity. So my riding is, I look around my riding and it looks a whole lot like our party, it looks a whole lot like me, and I just felt it was the right thing to do. And under this government, under the leadership of this Prime Minister, and when I look at the exceptional people who I now have the privilege of calling caucus colleagues, you look around and you see all of these women, men from different backgrounds who put their names forward. I thought I could do this too. So that's why.
Gordie, what inspired you to take this next step?
Well, if the next step was the first time I ran, which I think was 16 elections ago, do you want me to go back there,
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
I'll see if I can remember. I'd always been involved in high school politics. I was on student councils, but I never really saw them as politics. It was just hanging out with friends and trying to get things done within the context of the school. And I came home from school, I think it was grade 11 or grade 12, and my mom said to me, I think they're short Little League coaches. I saw it in the paper. I think you should coach Little League. And I said, Mom, like, I'm playing ball 4 nights a week. I don't have time to do it. And she said, well, you know, you could do it after school. So I did, not wanting to disappoint my mother. And I ended up coaching for about 20 years. But 5 or 6 years into it, when I was at university, we won the right to take our group of kids from British Columbia to Edmonton for the Western Canadian Championships. So the president of the league said, you've got to go to a White Rock City Council meeting and tell them you're taking this great group of kids to Edmonton, and maybe they'll give you some pins and some money. So I went to my first sort of formal, really elected meeting. And I came home from it about 10 o'clock at night. Still pretty clear to me. I was sitting at the kitchen table. I had a glass of milk and a beautiful peanut butter sandwich. And Mom walked into the kitchen and she said, how'd it go, son? And I said, Mom, it was old people making stupid decisions. We were last on the agenda. Nah, nah, nah. And Mom looked at me like, I guess mothers can, certainly mine could. And she said, you know, son, I'd always hoped I'd raised you to be the kind of person that if you didn't like something, you'd get involved and try and make a difference. And then she walked over to the kitchen sink and started washing dishes. And I had a lot of sleepless nights, and I eventually said, I'll show you, Mom. I'll run for White Rock City Council. And that's sort of how it happened, Chris. It was, and I think that I still hear my mom's voice, and I think that reflects almost every election I've been in. I've thought about those words that my mother gave to me, and I've tried to be true to those words. But there are also a number of principles and values that I think are reflected. I think that as we're so fortunate to be Canadians, the kind of rights we have in our multicultural, pluralistic society is just incredible. And those rights are in legislation. But I think as citizens, we also have obligations. We have obligations to be engaged and involved, and each of you have recognized that. Each of you is involved in some way. But I think that's ever so important to ensure that we protect democracy. Around the world, there's a movement called de-democratization. And we really have to, as citizens of this great country, ensure that we are represented around the world, as our Prime Minister does so incredibly well for us. And we've got such a great, great country to live in, and we want to keep it that way, and we want to continue to be an example to the rest of the world of how people can live in relative harmony in a time where there's so much disparity around the world. So I guess that's something that keeps me moving and going too. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup, Gordie. Merci à tous pour vos réponses. C'est franchement inspirant de voir que vous avez vu tous une opportunité, et puis c'est les valeurs libérales qui vous ont mené à vous présenter pour le parti et à décider d'être le changement vous-même que vous souhaitiez voir. Donc c'est vraiment fantastique. Emmanuella, t'es une des plus jeunes députées jamais élues. Et puis notre congrès ici réunit aussi le plus grand nombre de jeunes qu'on n'a jamais eu dans un congrès libéral. Qu'est-ce que tu dirais aux jeunes qui souhaitent faire comme toi et se présenter? So I'm going to repeat that in English just to make sure that everyone gets it, because Emmanuella is really good and she answers both in French and English. Emmanuella is one of the youngest MPs ever elected. And this convention here has one of the highest number of youth registered to attend the convention. So I'm asking her, Emmanuella, what advice would you give to a young person who, like you, would like to run?
Alors, je pense que comme jeune, c'est toujours un peu plus difficile quand tu vois que les élus sont beaucoup plus vieux que toi et que la majorité des élus sont des personnes un peu plus vieux. Alors, je pense pas qu'il faut être découragé quand on voit ça. Je pense que chaque personne de tous les âges ont la place en politique. I believe that the House of Commons should be filled with people from all age groups because we're representing Canada, and Canada has all of the age groups as a population, right? So I believe that I bring a voice that isn't necessarily brought to the table as often, and I believe that that's something that I'd like to see more of. It was shocking to me when we had a dinner one night, and it was all of the young women, so women under 40 years old, who got together, and we just had dinner one night, and there were 12 of us, and I believe that was literally all the women under 40 who are elected in our caucus. There are 184 or 85 members in our caucus, and only 12 of them are women under 40. So that in itself was shocking, and kind of, it definitely needs to change. So I would strongly, strongly encourage whoever wants to put their name on the ballot and who's young and who doesn't feel like, they belong because they're young, you definitely belong. And we need more representation in Ottawa. Alors, j'encouragerais tous les jeunes qui sont intéressés, qui voudraient mettre leur nom, de le faire parce que c'est très important de bien représenter le Canada. On a tous notre place. Même si vous êtes jeune, ce n'est pas grave. Je pense qu'on devrait être représenté par des groupes divers d'âge, d'ethniques, de groupes ethniques, de socio-economic background. I believe that everybody has a place and needs to bring forth the issues that touch them. I guess those are the words. And the fact that you're here today, le fait que vous êtes ici à votre premier, probablement, congrès, c'est la première étape. Vous avez déjà commencé à vous intéresser en politique et c'est vraiment la place où moi, j'ai réalisé que je voulais faire ce genre de travail. Mon premier congrès en 2012, je pense. Alors, j'encourage tout le monde de le faire, puis c'est vraiment le fun, puis c'est un travail très, très important et on a tous notre place.
Thanks, Emmanuella. Mary, next question is for you. So your riding contains many different communities, each speaking different languages. Can you give us some insight into how you went about building relationships across all of those communities during the course of your campaign?
Great, thank you. I actually wrote this down so that I could share this. I said a little earlier, my riding, the majority of my riding is a diverse riding. So there's over 80% of people who, who come from all parts of the world. About 35% is made up of Chinese Canadians, and the other 30-ish% South Asians. And so you have newcomers from the Chinese community speaking Mandarin. You have other Chinese Canadians who speak Cantonese and other dialects. We also have a wonderful, community of Sikh Canadians, of South Asian Canadians who are Punjab or Gujarati, a ever-growing Tamil Canadian community. On one part of the riding, there's a well-established Jewish community, and it's also very multi-faith. So you have you have many people in the community that practice many faiths around the world, from Judaism to Muslim Canadians and people who are Buddhists and Christians and so forth. So for me, it was really important, and what we did on the campaign was have a team that really did reflect the riding. So when people came into the campaign office, the team itself really looked like the riding. The volunteers that we went out to recruit and encourage really also come from different parts of our community. And because it was a by-election campaign, I had the real benefit of having so many people, many who are in this room, who came out and who helped. But what I would say is that what we created first and foremost was a campaign that was, it is the tagline of this party, positive politics, an open campaign. We tried things, we had things like an open campaign meeting where everyone got to come to it on Sunday evenings. I would say that the first one had like 5 people, and we built from that. But it was, the point there was we tried things, we had an open campaign. The reason Sunday evenings didn't work was that in the riding like mine, Sunday evenings were very, very family, and many people wanted to be at home with families. But so we tried things, open, positive, engaging, and we knocked on doors, we called. And in our volunteers, what we really tried to do was give our volunteers the tools to help them be successful at the doors or when they called. When you have such a diverse riding like mine, with many, many different languages, many customs, and many cultures, what you want to do is you want to be able to do the best you can to try to match up your volunteers so that when they're door knocking, they're able to speak the language at the door that they know that they're going to receive, and that there's an ability to communicate with our constituents. And that's what we ultimately did. We created a really positive campaign. We made it very, very open. And a really neat story was that I had this wonderful young volunteer, and Chinese speaking. And what we did was, she said, listen, my mom wants to come in and want to help. I said, absolutely, it'd be wonderful. We would welcome your mom. That one welcoming where, and her mom didn't speak English at all. And she found her place in my campaign. She found her place in bringing together her friends, her aunties, and her relatives, and friends of friends who lived in my riding. I travel the country, and rarely do I go across the country where I don't meet certain people in the Chinese Canadian community, at least, that don't say to me, I have a relative, I have a friend who live in your riding. So the story really is a simple one. It's one that we embody here in the Liberal Party of Canada. It's one that Team Trudeau embodies. It is hardworking, knocking on doors and phone calls, but it's enabling your volunteers and giving them the tools to do the job, and that includes open, positive, and setting them up for success, which is welcoming the different languages and welcoming the different cultures, and having a team that allows them to do their very best at door knocking and phone calls.
Thank you.
Merci, Mary. Richard, on revient à toi. T'es né, t'as grandi à Dolbeau-Mistassini, cette belle ville. T'en es devenu maire. Mais le lac Saint-Jean, ça dépasse Dolbeau-Mistassini. C'est composé de 38 municipalités. En quoi est-ce que l'élection partielle qu'on a vécue à l'automne était différente des campagnes municipales que tu as faites auparavant? Donc, avant que tu répondes, je vais juste le dire en anglais pour que les gens dans la salle, so that people in the room also understand. So, Richard was the mayor of Dolbeau-Mistassini, the town he was born and raised in. And so he was elected there as a councillor before mayor. And I'm asking him, what was the difference between your municipal campaigns that you led and the by-election that we went through in the fall?
Merci, Christine. La question est comment c'est différent une campagne municipale d'une campagne fédérale? C'est différent, puis c'est semblable en même temps. En fait, ce qui est différent, c'est la grandeur du comté par rapport à la grandeur de la ville. Comme le dit Christine, il y a 38 municipalités qui comportent le lac Saint-Jean. On dit chez nous que le lac Saint-Jean, c'est comme une table de cuisine. Les gens se parlent autour de la table, puis la nouvelle, elle se propage tout le tour. Et puis ça, c'est vraiment une différence notoire. Ce qui est semblable, c'est de la volonté de convaincre les gens. Il faut avoir ça en soi, mais il y a une chose importante aussi que je dois dire à tous ceux qui voudraient y aller en politique, avoir confiance en soi. Ça, c'est le début de l'histoire. Mais je vais vous raconter une petite anecdote. Une fois, je reçois un coup de téléphone d'un monsieur du Hill Times, nommé Abbas. I don't know who's this guy. and he asked me, Bonjour, Monsieur Hébert, je me présente. Quelle est votre confiance pour remporter la prochaine élection? 100%? Le lendemain matin, j'ai reçu un coup de téléphone du Parti libéral qui ont dit 100%. Mais quand tu veux vendre des pommes, tu dis pas que la pomme est à moitié pourrie. Tu dis que la pomme est bonne, puis que tu vas en manger, puis que ça va être bon. Alors, moi, j'avais la confiance, mais aussi, j'ai eu le support extraordinaire de bénévoles et aussi des gens de l'équipe qui sont venus m'aider. Vous savez, dans une région qui comporte 62 000 téléphones, on a fait 104 000 coups de téléphone. Puis je voudrais remercier tout le monde ici dans la salle. Je sais que tout le monde m'a aidé, puis notre victoire, ma victoire, c'est une victoire en équipe. Et ça, je ne pourrais jamais vous remercier assez. Alors, on était tenaces. On a cogné aux portes, on en a fait des téléphones. J'ai participé avec mon équipe. J'ai fait le tour du Lac-Saint-Jean. Pour faire le tour du Lac-Saint-Jean, je vous donne un exemple. Il y a des confrères, consoeurs qui font le tour de leur comté en 5 minutes en bicyclette. Moi, ça me prend 2h30 en automobile sans arrêter. Vous savez, le comté du Lac-Saint-Jean, c'est le deuxième plus grand comté au Canada. Pour vous donner une idée de la grandeur, c'est 2 fois plus grand que la Belgique. Alors, pour convaincre les gens, il faut absolument avoir un bon discours et surtout d'avoir un discours positif. Ce que l'équipe libérale, on a ça, on est positif. Et puis, la campagne, elle s'est menée de cette manière-là. Alors, à tous les jours, il fallait se lever, aller cogner aux portes, aller faire des téléphones. Christine le sait, j'ai jamais manqué d'ardeur là-dessus. Quand c'est le temps d'y aller, j'y allais. Et puis, le résultat est arrivé. Parce qu'on avait un discours positif. Et la meilleure façon de savoir si on touche les gens, je vous le dire, c'est d'aller cogner aux portes puis de leur parler aux gens. C'est ça qui fait toute la différence. Je vous donne une dernière anecdote, je ne vais pas prendre trop le temps de mes confrères, consoeurs. À un moment donné, dans une ville à Alma, il y a 35 000 de population sur 105 000. Et à un moment donné, je dis au monsieur, « Bonjour, monsieur Brassard. » Il dit, « Bonjour. » Il dit, « Moi, je suis néo-démocrate. » Je dis, « C'est parfait. » Alors, il me dit, « Toi, je pensais jamais voir le maire de Dolbeau-Mistassini ici. » J'ai dit, « Me v'là. » Puis là, il me dit, « Tu sais, j'ai déjà serré la main à Denis Lebel, puis il est devenu député. » J'ai dit, « Serrez-moi la main, s'il vous plaît. » Puis à la fin, il m'a dit, en tout cas, il dit, « C'est intéressant ce que tu racontes. » Alors, j'ai traversé la rue. J'étais avec Thomas Gagné, je le vois ici en arrière. Puis à un moment donné, tu allé cogner une autre porte. Puis quand on est revenu de l'autre côté de la rue, le gars me dit, « Hébert, quoi? Je vais voter pour toi. » Merci beaucoup. Alors, il faut être absolument tenace et pas lâcher notre discours puis d'être positif. Merci.
Excellent. Merci, Richard.
Gordie, a lot of people, frankly, had thought you had retired after a distinguished career in both local and provincial politics. Can you tell us what brought you back last year?
Yeah, well, I thought I'd retired as well. And I guess a couple of things brought me back. I first met Justin Trudeau in 2015 when he was talking to me about running then, and I was elected provincially. And in my first meeting with him, he was sitting across the table from me, and I was here, and there's somebody next to him, and I think it was Bruce Young next to me. And he was talking about the election, but mostly talking about me, and he knew about my history, and he was talking about that, and then he knew I was working on a doctorate, and he talked a little bit about that, and this went on for 5 or 6 minutes, and then Bruce, sitting next to me, said, "Justin, you're supposed to be talking me into running, not talking about all this egghead stuff." And Justin said, with his hands like he said, yeah, I'm sorry, you're right. He was more interested in me and talking about me and my issues than he seemed to be about those other big issues. And the fact that he responded in that fashion really endeared him to me at that point in time. So moving fast forward for a couple of years, I was on a number of boards, and I was an adjunct professor at Simon Fraser in criminology, and I was speaking at a conference in September in Ottawa, a conference on violence, a World Health Organization conference. And while I was there, I was asked whether or not I would be willing to meet with some people in the Prime Minister's office about the possibility of running. So I did, and again, they were saying to me, what is it that you're passionate about? What are your issues? What are the things that concern you? And so I was able to talk about some of those issues, which I think are important right across our country, but also were very important to me and to the community that I live in. And so I had made a list of 11, it's now 12 of those, which are things that I came back with. And I went back to home, and I talked with my family, And we decided that it was an opportune chance to see if we could win South Surrey White Rock for the first time in over 70 years for Justin Trudeau and for the Liberals. And we were very fortunate to have had an EDA that, despite not having a member of parliament for that many years, was really well organized, and over the past number of years had done some tremendous, tremendous work. And Judy Higginbotham had run for us in 2015, and I think she had really helped lay down the track and a platform as well, and I give credit to Judy for that.
Merci beaucoup, Gordie. Thank you, Gordie. So,
does that mean I'm finished?
Oh.
Usually the red light goes on or the speaker says, shut up. But I
oh. guess
you did. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh. Well, we still have time for another question, and you can be the first one to answer it in a minute or less. Mary mentioned the struggle to find volunteers, you know, how like she had the first meeting with only 5 volunteers present on the Sunday night. Il y avait seulement 5 personnes présentes d'un premier soir. Richard a mentionné par le nom plusieurs bénévoles qui ont participé à sa campagne. Se monter une équipe de bénévoles, c'est tout un défi. And Gordie, I'm sure it's the same thing for you, but I know you have some good tips on making a campaign fun and for people to want to stay. So I'd like you to share one of these things that you do to maintain the good spirit in your campaign team.
So the ones I can tell are the ones you want me to tell, I'm assuming. I think that the culture of a campaign is so important, and the candidate becomes so relevant with respect to creating that culture as well. And we had great fortune because we had people from right across Canada, MPs from across Canada, and staff were phoning in to our riding, were really helpful. Having the Prime Minister come to our riding twice during the by-election really elevated the energy and the excitement around the community. And being able to go out myself into the very, tell me when my minute's up, okay? Going out into the community in different places and saying, would you mind if the Prime Minister came and visited your place? And you're kidding. And that kind of energy and excitement was wonderful. But we had people, Deb Saul, who was at the front desk almost every day, and she was always so wonderful in greeting people.
On va passer à quelqu'un d'autre.
Sure,
We're now going to go to the next speaker.
Very quickly, Mary.
Okay.
We don't have much time.
So I would agree, culture matters, and I think all our ridings are different. I said mine's very diverse. So food made a big difference. So, you know, we had volunteers that came in and they fed people, and that was great. So people knew that when they came in and, you know, came in from knocking on doors and it was cold during my campaign, really, really cold. People came in and got something. But I would say letting your volunteers innovate. I ended up having sort of these micro teams because we enabled them to actually have some ideas, and when they had ideas that we thought were good ideas because it comes from the community, we let them go do it. We ended up having a great advanced team for a particular community just because they just took off with it, and so letting your volunteers and enabling them to succeed made it a lot of fun on my campaign.
Richard, c'est à toi. Oui, alors comment est-ce que tu es arrivé à t'assurer que les bénévoles restent et à monter une équipe de bénévoles? But really, we have like en 30 secondes. The mic is dead.
Écoute, c'est sûr que quand tu as un leader comme Justin Trudeau, qui est le meneur en avant, ça aide les gens à travailler. Et l'autre affaire, c'est que une région comme le Lac-Saint-Jean, qui est tellement diversifiée avec 3 grands pôles, Dolbeau-Mistassini, Roberval-Saint-Félicien et Alma, c'est pas évident à conjuguer. Je vous parlais de la table de cuisine, là, mais il y a un petit bout à faire au travers de ça. Mais il y a une chose importante, c'est que l'esprit d'équipe, la confiance et surtout, de maintenir un esprit d'équipe entre les gens. Souvent, on prenait une bière chez nous le soir après le travail. On avait l'habitude d'avoir beaucoup de plaisir ensemble. Et ça, quand les gens ont du fun ensemble, c'est ça qui fait la différence. Vous savez, quand on est député, on fait un job sérieux, mais il ne faut pas se prendre au sérieux. C'est-à-dire qu'il faut rester au niveau des gens, il faut rester accessible, rester convivial, ne pas se donner un air de grandeur, ne pas prendre la distance avec les gens. Moi, je viens d'une région, vous savez, mes aïeuls ont fondé le Lac-Saint-Jean il y a 150, 160 ans. Moi, mes racines sont très, très profondes au Lac-Saint-Jean, mais il y a une chose certaine, je sais reconnaître l'autre et je suis capable de me mettre à son niveau. Rester simple, rester accessible, et comme ça, quand on reste vrai, la vérité fait le reste, et aussi, c'est qu'à la fin, on récolte ce qu'on a semé.
Perfect time. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Christine. Thank you, Emmanuella, Richard, Mary, and Gordie. We're out of time. I hope the audience found some value in your insights and your candor. We appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Merci.